What's something that most people care about but you don't? Story 1. I don't care about other people. I'm young, and I uninstalled Instagram not so long ago. Same did with TikTok. Stopped talking to so much unimportant people. Made my circle of people reasonable. I'm not trying to fake anything. I don't care what others think. I just want to live peacefully. That's all. Story 2. I don't care if a movie or show is PC or DEI or virtue signaling or part of the liberal agenda. Make it as woke as you please. If I'm enjoying it, I'll watch it. If not, I'll turn it off. Nobody is propping my eyes open Clockwork Orange style and forcing me to watch anything. Story 3. Friends. Or a lack thereof. I'm constantly seeing posts about people asking how to make friends and meet people, and it always makes me wonder why anyone would want to give up on their alone time. I get that humans are social animals, but my interactions with the cashier at the checkout at a supermarket or a librarian are more than enough. Exchanging pleasantries physically exhausts me. Spending an entire lunch hour with a bunch of people, instead of IDK reading or watching my favorite TV show, sounds dreadful. Story 4. IDK if this is most people, but apparently since I'm a chick, I'm obligated to be ladylike. Apparently, I'm supposed to wear dresses and sit with my legs closed. Come on, it's bullshit. No one really cares or should care, at least when it doesn't matter. When I was little, my mom kept making me wear some dress that I thought was only for Christmas. When I asked her about it, she said, "It's nice to look ladylike." She finally let me stop wearing it because the tights that went with it got a bunch of holes in it because they made me itch like crazy and I kept scratching them. Now that I'm an adult, I don't like wearing skirts or dresses because if I do, suddenly creepy men like bothering me more than they would if I wasn't. I don't like being bothered as it is, but it seems like if I'm wearing a dress or skirt, it's like an invitation for them to bother me for some reason. Just because I look good, that doesn't mean I want to be bothered. Sad that I have to dial down looking good, so people leave me alone. As for the leg thing, even if no one else was there, my mom would get mad at me for sitting with my legs open. It's not ladylike to sit like that. Who the hell cares? No one else is here. I'm sorry, but it's way more comfy sitting with them open than closed. Guess I care more about being comfy. And apparently it's okay if a guy sits with his legs open, and they do all the time, but not a girl. How is that fair? Story 5. Living a long life. I retired before 40 and do not deny myself any of life's trappings. As far as I'm concerned, I've already been in absolute freedom for longer than many people who work for 40, 50 years will ever see when they retire. They will have more assets than I ever will, but I hold the trump card on the only resource that you can't work harder to obtain: time. Story 6. Latest cell phone and expensive pointless car. I'm enjoying my $200 cell phone and can do everything needed in a phone. People upgrade all the time and blow their paycheck trying to keep up. I love my Hyundai accent that is paid and gets me around just great. The richest guy I ever met worth hundreds of millions drove a Subaru Justy, and I learned from him that an expensive car makes no sense. I see people who make even decent money poor from car and pricey phone, and even poor people spending $700, $900 a month on a car eating dog shit all day. For what? Story 7. The British royal family. Even if I like it for the fashion, TBH. They always are dressed real nice and the different uniforms that are worn are sweet too. Also, the problem with not being a sports person is that you have to deal with the disbelief from others, and then the quizzing about it, and then how I should really consider one, and they won't shut up about recommending it. Story 8. Saving face. If I don't like you, I will be polite if necessary, but I will not seek out your company. If you have wronged me in a big way, I no longer require your presence in my life. If someone tries to get me to do something I don't want to do or feel is wrong, I won't do it. I have boundaries I've worked very hard to maintain. Story 9. EVs. I don't see or get the excitement behind a supposedly green and cleaner technology that heavily relies on fossil fuels to produce the electricity it uses to charge, mine the metals to produce the batteries, and run the factories where these EVs are made. If these EVs were the cleaner alternative, they should be 100% reliant on energy produced through solar or wind energy, not the fossil fuels it's touted to replace and demonizes. Story 10. Love and relationships. I don't feel romantic love whatsoever. I have literally no desire to be in a relationship. I do not get lonely. I don't get touch-starved. A lot of things that most people would consider the human experience are completely MIA for me. I don't like music. I have zero concept of artistic expression. This isn't all to say I'm a psychopath who doesn't feel emotion, but a lot of the things that people care about, I just don't. Story 11. I feel bad about this, but honestly, because of my research, I can tell you that most people, almost all, care a lot about what people think outside of their family and close friends. It is just human nature. Even though people often say, I don't care what they think, they actually do 99% of the time. I can honestly say, I do not. I have a high view of myself and wish love on everyone. I don't believe in being a jerk or anything like that, but I do not care what people think about me even a little bit. Story 12. Having a personality. I feel like so much of what people do and spend money on is just ways of saying, look at me, this is a thing I like, I am alive, I exist. And to me it just feels so tedious. Bumper stickers, tattoos, t-shirts for your favorite band or brand. It's like we have to not only enjoy things, but then shove it in everyone's faces, as if us spending enough money on personality buys will make people ever truly know us. It won't. They won't. Just accept that no one's ever really going to know you your whole damn life, and spend the money on shit you actually enjoy, rather than a megaphone to tell people about it. Story 13. I have a bunch of gamer friends who care a lot about maxing every single game they play. Like, I get it, big numbers go brr, but even for farming games like Stardew Valley, like, they can't conceive how people have fun not hunting down every single guide to max out stats or max out money. I just want to chill out, harvest my favorite crops, make some jam and decorate, not try to get the fancy, expensive endgame stuff as fast as possible. Story 14. Social media fashion aesthetics. Let me preface, I like dressing up. However, I don't care if my outfits are old money, new money, granola, academia, blueberry girl, or whatever new buzzword the internet created. Not everything about a person has to fit into an aesthetic and has a label. Not every occasion needs a fit, so it can be documented for Instagram. Sometimes you just wear whatever and enjoy your time living. Story 15. Your gender or your pronoun. Look, 999 out of 1,000 people I meet, I don't even know their name. And if I don't know your name, I do not need to know your gender. Your gender is like one of the least important things I need to know about you. But if you make it a point that I have to know your gender or pronoun, I know I don't need to know you or remember your name, so I really don't need to remember anything else about you. Story 16. Celebrities and influencers. I find it very odd that people get so invested in strangers' lives. People will comment stuff and be like, OMG, I love you so much. Not only that, but literally spending your time learning, researching someone's entire lives. If there was someone famous next to me, 99% of the time I would have no idea who it is. Just another random stranger, literally just living their lives. It's also kinda creepy. Story 17. Interior decorating and aesthetics. I don't like hanging posters, paintings, photographs. Also frustrated with the way residential construction always wants to hide everything, such that doing anything with wiring is a labor-intensive task. I'd rather just surface mount conduit and boxes. It wouldn't bother me to look at. And if I intended to stay in my current house forever, I would do that. Story 18. Foreign affairs. Worrying about or being outraged about things that are happening overseas feels like wasted emotions to me. Sure, I can donate to charities aiming to help or support victims of crises happening overseas, but that's literally the only thing that's within my capacity to do about it. So there's no point in being emotional. It's not like my emotions will make the problem go away. Story 19. Honestly, the longer I live, the more this list seems to grow. IDK, if it's my personality or some kind of mental health thing, but I just don't seem to give a fuck about a lot of shit that seems to be really important to others. I have goals and hopes and all that. But if shit isn't working out or doesn't go as planned, I'm typically just like, whatever, I'll try again or try something else. Story 20. I grew up with a mom who embodied the song Thrift Shop, and I'm 46, so Macklemore took lessons from her. Okay, maybe not the skeet blanket, but still. I have never understood paying top dollar to have a shirt with logos all over it. That's advertising. You pay me to wear it, not the other way around. Story 21. Awards, shows of any kind. They're just meetings of self-important people sitting around and admiring each other for making ridiculous amounts of money doing things that have no real-world importance. That said, I am a musician and a music lover, and I love truly great and epic movies. But no movie, song, stage performance, or animated short film ever made me want to watch the people who make them sit in a room and tell each other how allegedly great they are lol. Story 22. Sports. I cannot get into the whole going for a team thing. People crying when certain teams win, saying, we won. We? I didn't see you on the field. It just doesn't make sense to me. I do love playing sports, although I barely get a chance to nowadays. Also, I love seeing people happy, so if that's what floats your boat, then I won't ruin it for you, lol. But personally, I can't wrap my head around it. Story 23, social media presence. I post on Facebook maybe once a year. I'm only active on Snapchat with closest friends, family, and even then, it's not really a daily thing. I don't really chronicle my experiences or take aesthetically pleasing photos and send them to people, even privately. The only social media I regularly use are like Here and Tumblr, and I use anonymous names there. It's not connected to my IRL self. DGMW, I want to connect with people. I just get so busy and distracted that I forget to do that stuff. Story 24, fashion trends, social trends. In the 1970s, I wore the original Earth shoes until you couldn't buy them anymore. I've been wearing Birkenstocks for over 30 years. Love me some original Crocs. I wear what I like, what is comfy and gets me through the day. Been wearing sleep bras since at least 1980, now comfy sports bras. Love my full coverage briefs and in bathing suits. No need to show cleavage or ass cheeks. I don't give AF what other people wear or drive, nor their job titles or neighborhoods. I don't cultivate friendships with shallow people. I go where I want and do what I want when I want. The sense of freedom is the best. Story 25, the royal family. I'm sick of them being made the center of attention all the time by the Australian media. Last week, when everyone was focusing on the D-Day memorials, the local news networks down here made it all about them, and I can't begin to tell you how bad it was during King Chucky's coronation or his mother's funeral. Think of that South Park episode where Kyle feels like he's being forced to care about Prince Harry. That's how I feel every time the royals show up on the news. Story 26. I'm not really interested in family outside of my parents and brother. I have a really big family and mostly everyone is pretty great, but I just don't care to be involved in their lives. I've got my own shit going on, and blood relation doesn't mean I'm obligated to keep up with them or go to family functions or care at all, TBH. Also, tipping. If service isn't excellent, I'm not tipping. Get your paycheck from your employer. Tips are a voluntary bonus for above and beyond service, not a mandatory additional charge because you showed up to work. Restaurant prices could go up to cover a livable wage for servers and nobody would bat an eye. Also, the homeless and less fortunate, addicts, people that can't, read as won't, support themselves or help themselves. I could not possibly give less of a fuck about that shit. Everybody has problems. Deal with them yourself. I pulled myself out of addiction and poverty with zero support or resources. You can too. Story 27. It probably sounds heartless, but I don't care at all about the Israel-Palestine situation. Sure, I hate that people are being killed, but it affects my life in no way at all. I don't know enough about it, and I don't have the time or energy to do the research. I have way too many things right here in front of me that require my energy and thought already. I have people who rely on me. I don't have the time or energy to feel intense passion about an issue that is nowhere near my sphere of influence. Story 28. Weddings. You spend money to celebrate your friends or family deciding to sign a contract that they may or may not fulfill, to see the event that they put on for everyone that has little to no personality or relation to their connection. There are hundreds of things I would rather do than spend an evening or afternoon around a bunch of strangers, participating in small talk, sipping on cheap alcohol, listening to terrible music, and eating catered food. Don't get me wrong, love is wonderful. But if there weren't photographers, videographers, etc., I'm not sure people would bother with the event. Story 29. I have no qualms with telling the truth about how I feel if it's necessary to share, or if someone asks me to. I see nothing honorable about enabling poor behavior. My friends come to me often with personal issues, and they know that I'll be fair and honest. They won't be coddled if they come to me with a situation, and I point out that maybe they can do something different to help their position. I also have no problem saying no to things I don't want to do, and I don't care much if people don't like it. I'm not going to be forced to do things I don't have to. Story 30 trends, celebrities, and gas prices. I never check to see which gas stations are cheaper, nor do I look at the price. I stop when I see one, fill up, and that's it. Regardless, my car will always need gas. I'm lucky enough to own a car and be able to put gas in it. Blessed and grateful. And I'm not wealthy. It's laughable when people that are very wealthy bitch about gas prices. I see it all the time. They post and comment about it most. I remember when it cost me $15 to fill up and now it's $60. I make more money than I did back then, 20 years ago, as I'm sure most people do. Blessed and grateful. I don't follow trends and celebrities are no different than us. They just have a different job. Story 31, wealth. What I mean is you have what you have and you make the most of it. Rich, poor, middle class. You make what you make and you do the best you can with that. I will never put down a low-income family for not making much money. Most of them that I have met are legitimately hard-working people that were just born into tough circumstances. Yet they have busted their asses to make the best life possible for their families that they can. Story 32. Celebrities. I know very little about celebrity culture, and if whoever is the most famous person alive walked by me or even said hello to me, I'd have no idea who they are and just ignore them. As for the few I know, if I ever have the chance to take a picture with them, I would. But if I have to wait more than 5 seconds to get said picture, I wouldn't bother. The pic is mostly to bring stories for the boys. I don't care enough to wait for or follow someone around. Story 33. How rich or famous someone is, you're made of the same flesh and bones as I, as is the homeless person on the street. If I happen to be a fan of someone well known, it's because I admire their work, who they are, and what they're capable of, not because they're wealthy or that other people also know them. So if anyone was to have the audacity and self-entitlement to ask me, do you know who I am? 1. That's really put me off getting to know you from the get-go, and 2. Whether I do or don't, unless you bring me joy that's deeper than the superficials that you put value in, either way, I don't care. Story 34. Having a career and making lots of money. Working a 9-5 is absolute cancer and has been the worst thing to ever happen to me. Getting harassed at work, getting fucked out of my pay, being underpaid, being tired all the time, not having time to do anything. Having mandatory overtime is basically my entire work experience. People sacrifice their entire adult life, their health, and even relationships for work, and I don't get it. I just want to live, and it should not have to come at such a cost.